You're staring at your phone screen, thumb scrolling endlessly through a sea of notifications. Ding! Another email pops up, promising a flash sale on something you vaguely remember buying years ago. Ping! A text from a number you don't recognize, probably spam, but who knows. You swipe it away, only to be greeted by your inbox, a chaotic battlefield of thousands of unread messages, mocking you with their bold, unopened status. You need that one important email from last month, the one with the details for your doctor's appointment, or perhaps the confirmation for your grandson's birthday gift. But where is it? Buried under layers of promotions for products you purchased once in a blue moon, newsletters you subscribed to during a late-night bout of insomnia-driven curiosity, and those ancient chain letters from 2015 that somehow survived every device upgrade. Frustration builds like a slow-burning fire in your chest. Your heart races a bit, not from excitement, but from the sheer overwhelm. Why is this so hard? It's just digital stuff, right? No physical weight to lug around, no boxes to stack in the garage. But oh, does it weigh on you? It presses down on your mind, fragmenting your thoughts, stealing precious moments of calm. As you get older, pushing past 60, eyeing 68 on the horizon, that mental load feels heavier than ever. Your focus isn't quite what it used to be. The sharp edges of youth have softened. Multitasking? Forget about it. Now it's a recipe for mix-ups and missed details. That's not normal aging. That's digital clutter stealing your peace, your productivity, and yes, even your joy.
And if you're over 50, a baby boomer or Gen Xer who's witnessed the tech revolution from clunky rotary phones to sleek smartphones that seem to know more about you than your own spouse does, you've likely accumulated digital debris like invisible dust bunnies under a virtual bed. But unlike physical clutter, this stuff hides in the cloud, lurking in forgotten apps, buried in endless folders you swore you'd organize someday. It saps your energy, clouds your judgment, and can even impact your health in ways you might not realize. Studies from the American Psychological Association highlight how constant digital overload contributes to elevated stress levels, disrupted sleep patterns, and accelerated cognitive decline, issues that hit harder as we enter our later years. Think about it. At 68, do you really want to waste precious time wrestling with a bloated email inbox instead of savoring a leisurely walk in the park, video calling your grandkids without the frustrating tech glitches, or simply enjoying a quiet evening with a good book? Let me paint a picture for you, one that's all too common. Imagine waking up on a crisp morning, sunlight filtering through your curtains, ready to start your day with intention. You grab your tablet to check the weather, or perhaps pull up a recipe for that healthy smoothie you've been meaning to try. But instead, you're bombarded. Low battery warnings because background apps are draining power, storage alerts screaming that you're out of space again, and a notification bar that's a mile long with irrelevant pings. By the time you've cleared the digital fog, your motivation has evaporated. That's the insidious nature of digital mess. It's always there, always demanding attention, always chipping away at your well-being. I'm talking directly to you, the retiree or near retiree who's embraced technology to stay connected but now feels ensnared by it. You've got emails from old jobs, photos from vacations long forgotten, social media profiles gathering virtual cobwebs. It's time to act now before this tech overwhelm morphs into full-blown anxiety, or worse, leads to real-world consequences like missed bills, lost memories, or even security breaches. Decluttering your digital life isn't just about freeing up gigabytes, it's about reclaiming your mental space, sharpening your focus, and making room for what truly matters in these golden years. To bring this home, let me introduce you to Susan from Boston. She's 65, a retired elementary school teacher who once loved her iPad for curling up with ebooks and keeping tabs on her far-flung family via FaceTime. But over the years, her device had become a digital dumpster. Over 50,000 emails cluttered her inbox, apps she hadn't touched since the Obama administration hogged her home screen, and a photo gallery so overstuffed it took agonizing minutes to load anything. I felt trapped in my own technology, she confided to me during our first chat. Every time I picked up my phone, it was like opening a junk drawer that spilled out everywhere, overwhelming me before I even started. Susan's story isn't unique, it's a mirror for so many of us. After guiding her through a systematic digital declutter, she reached out weeks later, her voice lighter, almost buoyant. There were tears, not of sadness, but of profound relief. "It's like I got my brain back," she said. "I can think clearly again without that constant buzz in the background." And here's something profound. A commenter on one of my recent posts nailed it perfectly. "People who declutter digitally also declutter emotionally," they wrote. "They don't let old grudges, regrets, or what-ifs pile up in their minds, just like they don't let old files pile up in their drives." Spot on. When you clear your devices, you're not just deleting data, you're clearing your soul, making space for presence, creativity, and connection.
Today, I'm diving deep, really deep, into 8 digital messes you absolutely must delete before you hit 68. Even if it feels a tad scary, like parting with fragments of your digital memories. Even if that little voice whispers, "What if I need it someday?" Trust me, holding on to this virtual junk isn't preserving your past, it's robbing your present joy and future ease. We'll explore each mess in detail, why it matters more as you age, real stories from everyday folks like Susan and others I've helped, expert-backed insights from psychologists, tech gurus, and health professionals, and practical step-by-step how-tos tailored for non-tech-savvy users. By the end, you'll have a roadmap to a lighter, more liberated digital life. If this resonates, hit that like button if you're ready to reclaim your tech world, subscribe for more age-smart strategies, and drop a comment below. Which digital mess will you tackle first? Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in. Digital mess number 1, old emails and newsletters clogging your inbox. Let's start with the granddaddy of digital clutter, the email inbox. Nobody wants to admit it, but yours is probably a digital hoarder's paradise, overflowing with thousands, if not tens of thousands of messages. We're talking promotions from online stores you shopped at once during a holiday frenzy, newsletters you subscribed to after reading one intriguing article, order confirmations from trips you took years ago, and those pesky automated reminders that keep coming long after you've canceled the service. Why do we keep them all? Just in case, you might think? But let's be brutally honest. When was the last time you actually searched for and needed that 2018 flight receipt or that coupon code from a Black Friday sale? Experts from Harvard's Digital Wellness Lab have been sounding the alarm on this for years. They warn that an overflowing inbox doesn't just take up server space, it actively increases cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone, particularly in older adults whose brains are already navigating natural changes in memory and focus. A landmark study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology General revealed that visual clutter, even when it's confined to a screen, can slow down decision-making processes by up to 20%. For someone approaching 68, that translates to more daily frustration, heightened irritability, and less overall productivity. Imagine trying to find an important attachment from your financial advisor amidst a sea of spam. It's not just annoying, it can lead to real mistakes, like overlooking a tax deadline or ignoring a health alert.
To make this tangible, let's revisit Mike from Dallas, a 67-year-old former mechanical engineer who's become something of a poster child for email emancipation in my circles. Mike's Gmail account was a monstrosity. 45,000 unread emails accumulated over a decade of "I'll deal with it later" procrastination. It started so innocently, he shared during our initial consultation. A sale alert here, a blog subscription there. But before I knew it, it had snowballed into this overwhelming monster. The turning point came when he missed a crucial reminder for a specialist appointment, buried under hundreds of irrelevant messages, which delayed his treatment for a chronic condition. It was a wake-up call that shook him. I realized my inbox wasn't just messy, it was messing with my health, he admitted. Working together, we tackled it head-on, and Mike's transformation was nothing short of inspiring. He set up smart filters, unsubscribed ruthlessly from dozens of lists, and archived what truly mattered. Now his inbox rarely exceeds 100 messages at a time. I sleep better at night, he tells me. No more that nagging dread every time I open my email app. It's like a weight has been lifted. Mike's story underscores a key truth. Decluttering your inbox isn't about perfection, it's about regaining control. So, how do you tackle this beast without feeling overwhelmed? Let's break it down into manageable, bite-sized steps, perfect for those of us who aren't digital natives. First, assess the damage. Open your email app, whether it's Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, or even that old Hotmail account you've clung to, and take a deep breath. Check your total message count. It's often eye-opening. If you're on Gmail, head to the search bar and type "is unread" to see just how many bolded emails are staring back. Shocked? That's the point. Awareness is the first step to change. Next, start with mass deletion to make quick wins. Search for common clutter culprits like unsubscribe, which pulls up newsletters and promotional emails, as they're required by law under the US CAN-SPAM Act to include that word. Scan the results and use the unsubscribe link at the bottom of each email. It's usually in fine print, but clicking it removes you from their list legally and often instantly. For bulk actions in Gmail, try advanced searches. Type before 2023/12/24, adjusting for 2 years ago from today's date, December 24th, 2025, to isolate emails older than 2 years. Select all, there's a checkbox for that, and hit delete. Poof, thousands gone in seconds. If outright deletion makes you nervous, opt for archiving instead. It keeps them out of sight, but keeps them searchable if that rare just-in-case moment arises.
To prevent future buildup, set up filters and rules. In Outlook, for example, right-click on an email from a frequent sender, like your bank, and create a rule to automatically move it to a dedicated folder labeled Finances. Gmail has similar auto-labeling features under Settings, Filters, and Blocked Addresses. Create categories like Bills, Family, Travel, and News to route incoming messages intelligently. And here's a pro tip. Tools like Unroll.me or Clean Email, both have free versions, can scan your inbox and batch unsubscribe you from multiple lists at once, saving hours of manual work. But don't stop at deletion. Make it a habit. Dedicate just 15 minutes a day for the next week to chipping away. Set a timer on your phone. Put on some soothing music, and focus solely on one category, like promotions. By day 7, you'll notice a palpable shift, faster load times, fewer distractions, and a sense of accomplishment that spills over into other areas of life. Remember, most companies maintain your purchase history on their websites anyway, so you don't need to hoard those confirmation emails. For tax-related items, the IRS recommends keeping records for up to 7 years, but digitize them by scanning using your phone's camera app and storing in a secure cloud folder, not your main inbox. This way, you're compliant without the clutter. As you progress, you might encounter emotional hurdles. That email thread from an old friend who passed away? It's okay to keep a few sentimental ones. Archive them in a memories folder. But for the bulk, remind yourself, deleting doesn't erase the past, it frees your present. Mike summed it up best. My inbox used to control me. Now I control it. And that's the power we're after here. Digital mess number 2, duplicate photos and videos eating your storage. Moving on to another sneaky culprit, your camera roll, that modern-day scrapbook that's spiraled out of control. You snap a beautiful sunset, then 5 more variations just in case one turns out better. Burst mode during family vacations? That results in hundreds of near-identical shots clogging your gallery. Videos of your grandkids' birthday parties captured from every conceivable angle because you couldn't decide which was best. Before long, your phone flashes that dreaded warning, storage almost full. And at 68, dealing with sluggish devices and constant alerts is no picnic. It can turn simple tasks like sharing a photo into a frustrating ordeal. The Cloud Security Alliance's recent reports are eye-opening. The average smartphone user hoards over 10,000 photos, with a staggering portion being duplicates or low-quality duds. This not only leads to unnecessary cloud storage fees, think those monthly bills from iCloud or Google Photos that creep up, but also creates what psychologists call decision fatigue. Every time you scroll through your gallery to find a specific memory, you're bombarded with choices, which can overwhelm the brain and heighten anxiety.
A study from the University of California, Irvine links excessive digital photo hoarding to increased stress levels as it parallels physical sentimental attachment but lacks the tactile, comforting feel of a printed album. For older adults, this can exacerbate feelings of nostalgia overload, making it harder to enjoy the present. Susan from Boston pops up again in this context, as her photo mess was legendary. Her iPhone gallery boasted over 30,000 items, with at least half being duplicates from auto backups and failed uploads. I couldn't find my daughter's wedding photos without scrolling for what felt like eternity, and it brought me to tears of frustration more than once, she confessed. The clutter stemmed from years of upgrading devices without proper cleanup, plus those well-intentioned but redundant live photos that Apple enables by default. We rolled up our sleeves and used built-in tools like Google's Duplicate Finder, integrated into the Photos app, to identify and delete 15,000 items in a few focused sessions. Susan then organized her keepers into thematic albums: family in the 2020s, European travels, grandkids milestones. To add a personal touch, she started printing her favorites through services like Shutterfly or Snapfish, creating physical albums that bring real joy without the digital weight. It's absolutely liberating, she beams now. I look at my photos to relive happy moments, not to drown in them. Ready to reclaim your gallery? Let's walk through it step by step, keeping it simple and senior-friendly. Start on your device. For iPhone users, iOS 16 or later, open the Photos app, navigate to Albums, and look for the Duplicates album. It's a feature Apple added specifically for this. Tap Merge on groups of identical shots to keep the best one and ditch the rest. It's quick and painless. On Android, download the free Files by Google app if you don't have it, and use its Clean feature to scan for duplicates. It even suggests which to delete based on quality.
For videos, which are storage hogs, a single minute can eat up hundreds of megabytes. Be ruthless. Open your gallery, sort by size, and review the largest files first. Trim unnecessary segments using built-in editors. On iPhone, tap Edit on a video and drag the sliders. On Android, use Google Photos Trim tool. If a video hasn't been viewed in a year, check the last viewed metadata if available, consider deleting it. But for sentimental keepers, share them with family via shared albums or AirDrop first, so the memory lives on collectively. To prevent future chaos, adjust your habits. Turn off burst mode in your camera settings unless needed, and set auto backup to high quality, compressed, in Google Photos or iCloud to save space without losing much detail. Backup irreplaceable photos to an external drive, like an affordable SanDisk USB stick, under $20 on Amazon, plugged into your computer for offline storage. This way, if your phone crashes or you switch devices, you're covered without relying on pricey cloud plans. Make this a ritual. On your birthday each year, spend an hour reminiscing through your gallery, then purge. Put on your favorite playlist, sip a cup of coffee, and turn it into a reflective experience. You'll free up gigabytes of space, reduce those annoying storage warnings, and gain mental bandwidth for more important things, like planning that next family gathering. As you declutter, you might feel a twinge of loss for those what-if photos. But remember, quality over quantity. A curated collection of 1,000 cherished images beats 10,000 forgotten ones any day. Susan's advice? Don't let your photos own you. Own your photos. Wise words for navigating this digital minefield. Digital mess number 3. Forgotten social media accounts and profiles. Now let's turn our attention to the social media graveyard, those forgotten accounts scattered across the internet like digital ghosts. How many platforms are you juggling? There's the Facebook profile you created back in 2008 to connect with old high school friends, Twitter, now X, for keeping up with news and trends, Instagram for following your kids' adventures, LinkedIn from your professional days when networking was key, and maybe even a lingering MySpace or Tumblr from the early aughts. These old accounts don't just collect virtual dust, they pose real risks, from hackers exploiting dormant profiles for identity theft to privacy leaks where outdated posts reveal personal information you'd rather keep private. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC,
reports over 2.5 million cases of identity theft annually in the US, with a significant portion tracing back to unused social media accounts that serve as easy entry points for cybercriminals. For seniors, this digital mess means more than just security headaches. It contributes to mental drain from sporadic notifications you ignore or forget, and a fragmented online presence that complicates staying connected with loved ones. A study from the Pew Research Center notes that older adults often maintain multiple profiles out of habit, leading to confusion and reduced engagement. Essentially, you're spread too thin to enjoy any of it. Enter Evelyn from New York, a 66-year-old retired nurse whose story is a cautionary tale with a happy ending. Evelyn had amassed 12 social media accounts over the years, some so forgotten she couldn't recall the passwords. One day, I received a friend request from myself, a fake profile using my old profile pictures and details, she recounted, her voice still tinged with the terror of that moment. It turned out a hacker had accessed an abandoned account and was using it to scam her contacts. The incident spurred her into action. We conducted a full audit, listing all known accounts, using a password manager like LastPass, its free tier is robust, to jog her memory on logins. We deleted 5 outright, platforms she hadn't used in a decade, and secured the remaining with strong, unique passwords and two-factor authentication, or 2FA, which adds an extra layer of security via text codes or apps.
Evelyn consolidated her online life to just Facebook for family updates and Instagram for sharing photos, ditching the rest. Less scrolling means more time for real life, she says now with a laugh. I garden, I read, I visit friends, without the constant pull of notifications from places I don't care about. Her experience highlights how pruning social media can enhance rather than diminish your connections. To replicate her success, start with an inventory. Grab a notebook or open a Notes app and list every social platform you remember joining. To uncover forgotten ones, Google your name plus social media or profile. You might be surprised what turns up. Tools like Have I Been Pwned, a free website, can check if your email has been involved in data breaches, alerting you to vulnerable accounts. For deletion, each platform has its process, but it's straightforward. On Facebook, go to Settings and Privacy, Settings, Your Facebook Information, Deactivation and Deletion, choose Permanent Deletion and follow the prompts. It takes up to 30 days. Twitter/X, Settings, Your Account, Deactivate Your Account. Instagram, Profile, Menu, Settings, Account, Delete Account. LinkedIn, Me icon, Settings and Privacy, Account Preferences, Account Management, Close Account. For lesser-known sites, search their help centers for Delete Account. While you're at it, update privacy settings on the accounts you keep, make profiles private, limit who can see your posts, and review tagged photos to remove any that feel outdated or exposing. Enable 2FA everywhere. It's like a digital deadbolt. And if you're worried about losing contacts, export friend lists first, most platforms allow this, and reach out via email or phone to maintain those relationships offline.
This purge doesn't just protect you, it simplifies your digital routine. No more juggling multiple logins or dealing with irrelevant feeds at 68. Evelyn's final tip: treat social media like a garden. Prune regularly to let the good stuff bloom. Couldn't agree more. Digital mess number 4. Outdated apps hogging your home screen. Shifting gears to your device's home screen, that prime real estate cluttered with icons galore. There's the fitness tracker app from your ill-fated 2020 New Year's resolution, multiple weather apps for cities you visited once on a whim, games your grandkids downloaded during a visit and you never uninstalled, and perhaps a dozen banking or shopping apps from brands you no longer use. Each of these unused apps isn't just visual noise. They run subtle background processes, draining your battery, slowing down your phone, and even collecting data without your active consent. Apple's App Store analytics reveal that the average user has over 80 apps installed, but regularly uses only about 30%. A Stanford University study on mobile usability ties this app clutter to reduced device efficiency and user avoidance, meaning you might pick up your phone less for fear of the lag, isolating yourself from important calls or updates. For those nearing 68, this can mean missing out on the very tools designed to make life easier, like health monitors or video chat apps. George from Houston, a 69-year-old retired oil worker, embodies this struggle. His Android phone was burdened with 150 apps accumulated over years of "this looks useful" downloads. "My phone lagged like molasses in January," he grumbled during our session. The clutter stemmed from curiosity, newsreaders, recipe finders, even a stargazing app from a one-time astronomy kick. We audited together, sorting apps by last used date, a feature in Settings, Apps on Android, and deleting anything untouched in 6 months. George reorganized the survivors into folders like News and Weather, Health and Fitness, and Family Communication, reducing his home screen to 2 pages. His battery life doubled and load times sped up dramatically. "I actually use my phone now without cursing under my breath," he reports with a chuckle. "It's like giving it a tune-up." To follow suit, begin with a screen audit. On iPhone, go to Settings, Screen Time, See All Activity to view usage stats. Apps with 0 minutes, prime candidates for deletion. Long press an icon on the home screen, tap the minus sign, and choose Delete App. On Android, head to Settings, Apps, sort by last used, and uninstall from there. For apps you're unsure about, use iOS's Offload app feature. It removes the app but keeps its data, allowing easy reinstall if needed.
Limit yourself to essentials. One email app, your bank's official one, maps for navigation, a health tracker if you use it daily. Review permissions in Settings. Revoke access for unused apps to protect your privacy. And make it a quarterly habit. Every 3 months, spend 10 minutes culling. You'll notice faster performance, longer battery, and a calmer interface. As George discovered, fewer apps mean a happier, more efficient you. But we're not done yet. There's more digital detritus to tackle. Let's pause here for a moment, as we've covered a lot of ground, and reflect on how these first 4 messes interconnect, building a foundation for the deeper clean ahead. George's story is a reminder that your phone should serve you, not frustrate you. By trimming the app fat, you're not losing functionality. You're gaining speed, reliability, and peace of mind. And the best part? Once you've cleared these first 4 digital messes, emails, photos, social accounts, and apps, you'll already feel a noticeable lift. Your devices will respond faster, your notifications will feel purposeful instead of punishing, and you'll have reclaimed hours of mental energy. But we're only halfway through the 8 messes. There are 4 more lurking that, if left untouched, will quietly keep dragging you down. Let's keep the momentum going. Digital mess number 5. Ancient documents and files in your cloud or drive. Let's talk about the invisible attic of the digital world, your cloud storage. Whether it's Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud, or a mix of all of them, most of us have folders that haven't been opened since the early 2010s. You've got subfolders nested inside subfolders with cryptic names like Stuff, Old Work, MISC 2015, or To Sort Later. Inside, a wild assortment. Scanned PDFs of utility bills from a house you sold a decade ago, Word documents of half-written holiday letters, spreadsheets tracking expenses for trips you barely remember, PowerPoint presentations from a job you retired from, and countless downloaded ebooks or articles you swore you'd read someday. This kind of file clutter doesn't just eat up storage and your money if you're paying for extra gigabytes, it creates a constant low level of anxiety. Every time you open your drive to save a new document, you're confronted with a chaotic list that makes finding anything feel impossible. A report from CloudWords estimates that businesses and individuals waste billions annually on storing dark data, files that are never accessed again. For individuals over 60, the psychological toll is even higher.
Researchers at Princeton's Neuroscience Institute have shown that a cluttered environment, even a digital one, impairs focus and increases cognitive load, making everyday tasks feel harder than they need to be.
Patricia from Denver, a 64-year-old former administrative assistant, knows this all too well. When we started working together, her Google Drive was holding over 500 gigabytes of files, most of it junk. I couldn't find anything, she told me. I spent 45 minutes once just trying to locate my living will because everything was buried under layers of old folders. The worst part? She was paying $9.99 a month for extra storage, money that could have gone toward a nice dinner out or a gift for her grandchildren. We spent a few afternoons sorting, deleting outdated tax documents older than 7 years, the IRS statute of limitations, shredding digital scans of warranties for appliances she no longer owned, and consolidating scattered recipe collections into one neatly labeled folder. After the purge, Patricia's drive was down to 80 gigabytes, all meaningful, organized, and searchable. She canceled her paid plan, saving $120 a year, and, more importantly, gained genuine peace of mind. Now when I need something, I find it in seconds, she says. It's like someone turned down the static in my brain. Ready to tackle your own digital attic? Here's a gentle, step-by-step approach that won't leave you exhausted. Start by picking one cloud service to focus on first. Don't try to do all of them at once. Open Google Drive or your preferred service, if possible, on a computer. The larger screen makes this much easier. Sort the entire list by last modified or date added, with oldest first. Anything untouched for 5 or more years is a prime candidate for review. Create 4 temporary folders at the top level: Keep, Review Later, Trash, and Archive. As you go through files, drag them into the appropriate folder. Be honest, if you haven't opened a document since 2018, you're unlikely to need it in 2026. For tax-related files, remember the 7-year IRS rule. Anything older can usually go unless you're under audit. Scan important papers with your phone using the free Adobe Scan or Notes app on iPhone and store them in a clearly labeled Taxes folder by year. Use the search function liberally. In Google Drive, type keywords like .pdf, warranty, or resume to surface clusters of similar files. Bulk select and move or delete. If you're nervous about permanent deletion, use the trash folder first. Most services keep deleted files for 30 days, giving you a safety net. For large video files or old backups taking up huge space, download them to an external hard drive. A 1 terabyte portable drive costs around $50 these days, and then delete from the cloud. This keeps precious memories safe without the ongoing cost. Finally, establish a simple folder structure you'll actually use. Personal, medical, finances, insurance, legal. Family, photos by year, kids and grandkids. Hobbies, recipes, travel plans, gardening. Archive, a single folder for anything you're keeping just in case but don't need regular access to. Make this a seasonal habit, perhaps every spring or fall. Spend a weekend afternoon with a cup of tea and some favorite music, tidying your drive like you would a physical closet. Patricia now does a quick 20-minute sweep every January. It's become my digital New Year's ritual, she laughs, and it feels just as refreshing as cleaning out the garage. Digital mess number 6, spam contacts and old numbers in your address book. Your phone's contacts list might seem harmless, but it's often one of the most bloated parts of your digital life. Over the decades, you've accumulated hundreds, sometimes thousands of entries. Former coworkers from jobs you left in the 1990s, doctors who retired, repairmen who went out of business, duplicate entries for the same person, John Home and John Sell, and random numbers saved as Pizza Place 2017 or Uber Driver 2021. Every time you go to call or text someone important, you have to scroll past dozens of irrelevant or outdated names. A 2023 Verizon study found that the average smartphone user has over 500 contacts, with roughly 40% either duplicates or completely obsolete. This bloat doesn't just make dialing frustrating, it can create privacy risks if your phone syncs to the cloud and gets compromised. More subtly, it adds to that pervasive feeling of digital overwhelm.
another list that's out of control.
Carl from Orlando, a 70-year-old retired airline mechanic, had ballooned to over 800 contacts. Half of them were ghosts, he told me with a wry smile. There were colleagues from routes he flew in the 1980s, neighbors who'd moved away, and even a few entries from his late wife's phone that synced over years ago. Every time he tried to call his daughter, he'd accidentally tap an old number and get that awkward "number no longer in service" message. We spent a rainy Saturday afternoon cleaning house. Using the built-in duplicate finder on his iPhone, we merged 150 duplicates instantly. Then we scrolled alphabetically, deleting anything he hadn't contacted in years or didn't recognize. We kept a running list on paper of anyone he was unsure about, and he texted a quick, "Hey, it's Carl, saving your number," to confirm current ones. By the end, Carl was down to just over 200 active, accurate contacts, all people he actually communicates with today. "Calling my kids or grandkids is instant now," he says. "No more hunting." And honestly, it felt good to let go of those old connections that weren't serving me anymore. Cleaning your contacts is one of the quickest wins in digital decluttering. Here's how. On iPhone, open the Contacts app, or Phone, Contacts, scroll to the top and look for Duplicates Found. iOS will often detect them automatically. Tap to merge. Then go through alphabetically. If you see a name you don't recognize or haven't spoken to in years, delete. For peace of mind, you can export your entire list first. Use iCloud.com on a computer, sign in, go to Contacts, select All, and export as a vCard file. On Android, open the Contacts app, tap the menu, 3 lines or dots, and look for Manage Contacts or Merge and Fix. Many Android phones have a built-in duplicate remover. For deeper cleaning, apps like Cleaner or Contacts Optimizer, free versions available, can help identify inactive or incomplete entries. As you go, ask yourself 3 questions for each contact. Have I communicated with this person in the last 2 years? Do I anticipate needing to reach them in the next year? Does keeping this entry bring me value or just clutter? If the answer to all 3 is no, let it go. And don't feel guilty. People's numbers change, relationships evolve. Keeping an outdated contact doesn't preserve a friendship, it just preserves confusion. Once cleaned, make maintenance easy. When someone new gives you their number, add context immediately. Sarah, book club, or Dr. Patel, cardiologist. Periodically, perhaps twice a year, do a quick scroll through and delete anyone who's no longer relevant. Carl now does it every New Year's Day. Takes 10 minutes, he says, and starts the year feeling organized. Digital mess number 7, unused cloud storage folders and redundant backups. This one sneaks up on you. Over the years, you've created folders like Vacation Photos 2018 Backup, Old Phone Backup, iCloud Migration Temp, or even Backup of Backup. You've got automatic backups from multiple old devices still sitting in iCloud or Google One. You might have switched from Dropbox to Google Drive years ago, but never deleted the old account, so you're paying for or stressing about space in 2 places. These redundant folders and ancient device backups can consume hundreds of gigabytes without you realizing. According to a 2024 AWS report, over 60% of cloud data is considered dark, stored but never accessed. For individuals, this translates to unnecessary subscription fees, slower sync times, and that nagging feeling that your digital house is bigger and messier than it needs to be. Linda from Atlanta, 65 and recently widowed, was paying $9.99 a month for extra iCloud storage she didn't need. When we looked closer, nearly half her space was taken up by backups of her old iPhone 6S from 2017 and duplicate photo libraries she'd created just to be safe. I was terrified of losing memories, she shared, so I kept copying everything. The irony? The duplicates made it harder to find the photos she actually wanted. We carefully consolidated her current photo library, turned on iCloud Photos Optimization, which stores full-resolution versions in the cloud but keeps smaller ones on her device, and deleted the ancient device backups and redundant folders. Linda dropped back to the free 50GB iCloud plan, saving over $100 a year, and her phone stopped giving constant storage warnings.
Here's how to untangle this web safely. First, check your storage usage. On iPhone, Settings, Your Name, iCloud, Manage Account Storage. On Android, Settings, Accounts, Google, Storage. You'll see a breakdown. Often, backups and photos are the biggest culprits. For iCloud backups, go to Manage Account Storage, then Backups. You'll likely see old devices listed. If you no longer own the device, tap it and choose Delete Backup. This doesn't delete your current data, just the old snapshot. For Google One, open the Google One app or website, go to Storage, and look at Backups or Other Data. Delete backups from devices you no longer use. Next, hunt down redundant folders. In Google Drive, search for words like backup, copy, old, or temp. In iCloud Drive on a Mac or iCloud.com, do the same. Consolidate similar folders. Merge Vacation 2019 and Vacation 2019 Copy into one. If you're using multiple cloud services, pick one primary. Most people choose either Google or Apple based on their phone, and migrate everything else there over time, then close the unused accounts. Finally, turn on space-saving features. iCloud Photos, optimize iPhone storage, Google Photos, high quality, free unlimited, or storage saver mode. These keep your memories accessible without hogging local space. Linda now checks her storage once a quarter. It's like checking the oil in your car, she says, a small habit that prevents big problems.
Digital mess number 8. Browser bookmarks from yesteryear. Last, but certainly not least, the browser bookmark bar or menu that's become a digital junk drawer. You've got hundreds, maybe thousands of saved links, recipes you saved in 2012 and never made, news articles you meant to read, shopping sites for items you already bought, blog posts from websites that no longer exist, and random "I'll look at this later" pages from years ago. Every time you open a new tab, you're greeted by a cluttered list that makes finding anything useful feel impossible. Mozilla's internal data shows the average Firefox user has over 200 bookmarks, but accesses fewer than 10% regularly. This digital hoarding slows down your browser, clutters your interface, and adds to decision fatigue every time you sit down at the computer. Frank from Seattle, a 68-year-old retired software tester, ironically, had accumulated over 500 bookmarks in Chrome across multiple folders. "I was a serial saver," he admitted. "Interesting article? Bookmark. Useful tool? Bookmark. Sale? Bookmark." The result was paralysis. He rarely used bookmarks because finding anything took too long, so he'd just Google things again, wasting time. We spent a Sunday morning doing what he called bookmark bankruptcy. We exported his entire list as a backup, just in case, then started fresh. Frank kept only his daily essentials, banking sites, news homepages, family blogs, and organized them into 3 simple folders: daily, reference, and fun. Everything else? Deleted. He installed a clean bookmark manager extension for future saves, set to auto-archive after 90 days if unvisited. Now Frank's browser feels fast and calm. It's like walking into a tidy office instead of a storage unit, he says. "I actually enjoy being online again." To declutter your bookmarks, export first for safety. In Chrome, go to Bookmark Manager, Control-Shift-O or Command-Shift-O on Mac, click the 3 dots, Export Bookmarks. Save the HTML file somewhere safe. Sort by date added or name. Delete anything older than 2 years unless it's a true evergreen resource. Be ruthless. Ask, "Will I realistically return to this specific page?" If not, delete. Organize survivors into a simple structure: daily use, finance, health, hobbies, news. Adopt a new habit. Use a Read Later app like Pocket or Instapaper for articles, and set bookmarks only for sites you visit weekly.
Frank now reviews his bookmarks every 6 months. Takes 15 minutes, he says, and keeps the browser feeling like a tool, not a burden. Now, let's pull it all together with a gentle, sustainable action plan so you don't burn out. Start small. Pick just one of the 8 messes this week. Maybe it's your email inbox, or your contacts list, or your bookmarks. Set a timer for 20 to 30 minutes a day. Put on music you love, make yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea, and treat it like a pleasant ritual rather than a chore. Use the 3-bag method adapted for digital. Keep or archive, delete, review later, a small holding folder you revisit next month. When the timer goes off, stop, even if you're on a roll. This prevents overwhelm and makes you eager to return tomorrow. Take the wins out of the house, so to speak. Empty your email trash, permanently delete files from cloud trash bins, and confirm deletions so there's no creeping doubt. Most importantly, celebrate each small victory. After your first session, reward yourself. Watch a favorite show, call a friend, take a walk. Positive reinforcement wires your brain to want more. As you progress through the weeks, you'll notice cascading benefits: faster devices, fewer notifications, easier decision-making, and a profound sense of lightness. Susan, Mike, Evelyn, George, Patricia, Carl, Linda, and Frank all reported the same unexpected gift: better sleep, lower stress, and more energy for real life. Remember, you're not erasing your past, you're making room for your present and future. Your devices should support your life at 68 and beyond, not burden it. Every file you delete, every app you remove, every outdated contact you let go is one less decision your brain has to make, one less ounce of mental weight to carry. No one has ever finished a digital declutter and wished they'd kept more junk. But thousands regret waiting too long. Don't be one of them. So here's your challenge this week. Choose one mess. Set that timer. Make it pleasant. And when you're done, come back and comment. Which one did you start with? Old emails? Duplicate photos? Outdated apps? Your story might inspire someone else who's been putting this off for years.
If this has helped even a little, please hit like, subscribe for more practical, age-friendly tech and life tips, and share with a friend who could use a digital fresh start. You deserve technology that brings ease and joy, not stress and frustration. Let's make that happen, one deleted file at a time. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Here's to a lighter, clearer, freer digital life ahead.